fighting the traction control the whole way. But hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm here with Shahid in his modified M240i. How are you doing today?
Doing alright, yeah.
Now this, I mean, it's not a direct comparison to my C43 AMG, but however there are quite a few similarities. And you know, first off, what's under the hood? Whilst you know we can hear the overrun in the background there. 3 litre 6-cylinder engine, not a V in this one. It's a straight 6. Ordinarily they push out what, about 340 horsepower, yeah. But Shahid's got a tune on this, so you think it's pushing out what?
400, 420, yeah, something like that.
So 400 plus horsepower in a 2 series body, rear wheel drive, country roads. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I
mean, you've owned this car for how long?
About 9 months now.
And you'd say it's a really fun car to drive, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'll be interested to see when I jump behind the wheel is that obviously with this, all that power is going through the rear wheels, so it is a bit snaky. So even in the drive, whereas in an AMG, you put your foot down and there's not much drama, you just go in the direction you want to go, but it can get a bit boring. Whereas with this, with rear wheel drive cars, there's a bit more feel. So going through some of these bends here, like you're able to chuck it through the corners and things like that. Watch out here. I'm struggling to stay up here. It's a bunch of fun, this car, isn't it? I'm going to get some of the boring stuff. We've got the stats, so we know we know what the power's like. Driving wise, I'd say it's a proper M. A lot of people will say when I look at videos of the M240i, it gets compared to the M2.
Yeah.
Now, what I've got to ask you is, why not the M2? Did you consider an M2 when you were looking at an M240i?
Yeah, but because a deal popped up on this, and then they just snatched it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, although we don't like to say it, if a deal comes up, it makes a big. It's a big. You're parting with a lot of money. You got to consider things like that. I'd say, just off that, you don't need any more power. Would you say 400 horsepower in a car like this, roads like this? Do you need any more power? I don't think you would.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, this is an 8-speed auto. It's not 7-speed DCT, is it?
No, 8-speed auto. Yeah.
So actually, that would be a really good comparison when I jump behind the wheel to compare it to the 9-speed auto that I've got in the AMG, which I've said is really good in comfort mode.
Yeah.
But when you switch to paddles, do you use paddles often?
Yeah. Here and there.
So in the AMG, for example, it's slow. That's where it lacks it. Whereas with the BMW, if someone correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to assume it's a ZF 8-speed auto, and ZF generally, they've nailed it with their gearboxes, and BMW have the best kind of fine tuning with them compared to Audi, I'd say. I mean, imagine in manual mode, this car's going to be a lot more enjoyable, a lot more rewarding, a lot quicker than my C43 and gear changes. We're on country roads right now. What kind of fuel economy do you do?
Usually I get about 18, 20.
18 plus, yeah.
That's average. You can get a lot less if you're just fully foot down.
So let's say on your morning cruise to work, motorways, what are you doing?
On the motorways it's decent. They get up to about 40.
Okay, so that's similar. So that's on a good motorway journey. I get near 40. So it does everything really.
Yeah, exactly.
You can hoon it when you want to, but 40 miles per gallon car with 400 horsepower.
Yeah,
that's decent, I'd say.
Exactly.
If you're looking at an M240i, you're probably looking at a CLA 45. That's a 4-cylinder engine, and that does not sound anywhere near as good as this, I'd say. Because you can't beat a 3-litre proper 6-cylinder engine, like a throaty growl all the way through. We're going to do a left down into here. M Sport suspension in this, and do you know what? Not that uncomfortable. I wouldn't say it's an uncomfortable car.
Yeah,
so I think this is just another BMW thing, to be fair.
Yeah.
When it comes to gearboxes, engines, ride, they are really nailing it compared to Audi and BMW, I'd say, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting, when you said that you dropped this, you know, you've got different alloys. Are they a bigger size?
Yeah, it's 18 standard now,
Yeah.
19.
So you got 19, so you got a lower profile tyre as well,
Yeah.
and
it's dropped by 25 mil.
dropped by 25 mil. So obviously, if this was fully standard, then the ride would be, obviously, naturally, it'll be a better ride, more comfy. But at our age, you don't really care about that too much. I never cared about the stiff ride in my CLA 45.
Exactly.
My dad did, but do you know what? How often do they drive it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, jump behind the wheel. Do you know what, Eve? So this is in full comfort mode, isn't it? And we're really like responsive on the throttle. It's really strange, that, actually, because in my C43, it's really like numbed down. Like, they've tried to make it as like a C-Class, just a bit like, you know, normal cars, whereas in this you always feel like you're kind of in a sports car.
Yeah.
Which is exactly how it feels.
I think if you put an Eco Pro, then the throttle gets...
But do you know what I'm really surprised? It's so sharp, the steering drive. I mean, let's just jump straight into sport. So to go and you knock across, don't you?
Knock across, yeah.
So that's in manual.
Yeah.
The drive and everything. Oh, so wait, do you know what? I'm so used to 4MATIC.
Yeah.
I can just squirt the throttle, and the worst that happens is I'll get understeer.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, you get the oversteer, don't you? So you've got to watch like kind of the rear and everything like that. But it's so sharp. The hell? Because my big complaint, you know, with the CLA 45, for example, was it was so numb. I couldn't feel anything.
Yeah.
So although, you know, it changed directions really good, really fast, like really like responsively, as a driver, you don't feel nothing. One thing that I like, so geared, is that the only place that tells you where the gear is?
Yeah, that's...
See, I'm used to, like, you know, with an AMG display, I'd like to know what gear I'm in,
Exactly,
like right in front of you and stuff, whereas this is, it's a little bit out of the way, but...
Yeah, I think like M2s and M3s, is the gear you're in is quite big.
I mean, these seats are actually quite comfortable.
Yeah, it's got them...
They hug you, like, you know, the side bolsters are good.
Yeah. They're adjustable as well, so you can make
Yeah.
it higher.
So most of the power band in this, you know, one of you guys will have to correct me, or unless you already know, like, is the power delivery, is all the torque lower down, is it mid or higher up?
It's mid-range for these.
It's about mid-range for this, right? But with the C43, you've got to wait for the turbo to spool up a little bit, but most of the power's at the top end.
Yours is bi-turbo, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've got a bi-turbo there, so I'm waiting for a lot more boost pressure. Is this a single turbo?
These are single turbos, I think.
Okay.
So I think maybe it's right to the top end there.
So that was the thing with like BMs, you could rev them out a bit more, it's a bit more rewarding. Whereas, you know, if you rev out a C43 or a lot of AMG cars, you don't get rewarded for, you know, right at the top end. All the power's like happening at 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. You can see that this is redlined to 7,000, and you know, you can rev right out, I'm guessing. So, I mean, these are completely bone dry roads, and there's a little bit of scrolling. Now, I had the impression that obviously, you know, when we were arranging to do this, I was like, dry roads, I want dry roads. Because jumping behind, you know, an M car from 4 years with an AMG, I wouldn't really be able to exploit it at all, because I just wouldn't be used to it, because obviously rear wheel drive cars, I thought it'd be snaking about all over the place, but you know what? Not too bad. I mean, you said you've, let's get in front of these, you've stuck on Michelin P4Ss, haven't you? And just as we're going around, the next thing that I want to talk about, there's so much to actually talk about in this, the mods that you've done, and straight away I want to begin with this steering wheel. You've got this full carbon carbon and like suede alcantara, and it's so good, nice and chunky. Nice and chunky and very racy. The grips are in the perfect position. Where did you get this mod from? Because someone's going to ask for sure. It looks so nice.
So I got it from AU Customs. So it's quite local to me. It's on Instagram. I'm pretty sure they're on the website as well. So is that? I assume that was traction control kicking in. So in first gear. So this is in sport mode. So I've noticed it does it more as you set off, first gear kind of thing. Second gear, the power delivery is there. It's there.
So I can imagine,
Right, so if you were to turn full traction control off, so it's the initial launch. So this is where, you know, 4MATIC cars, they launch really good because, you know, four-wheel drive. But the moment you've cleared that gear, this just pulls and pulls and pulls. It's making me first off, it's making me miss my CLA 45 because it's small and compact. My C43, you know, I've taken it down these roads plenty of times, and it's a big car. You know, it's a big car. It feels like a big car, whereas this is like, and you know, that's a proper sound coming out. None of it's fake. I mean, I'm fighting the traction control the whole way, but do you know what? It's a nice safety barrier to have. If it was chucking it down with rain, I wouldn't go anywhere near Sport Plus with full traction control off, because I'll be in the bush somewhere over there. So it doesn't matter if I'm racing drive, it's just it's weird. But as you get used to a car, you know your car the best and everything like that. But you're able to enjoy this car without, you know, getting to that level straight away, which is what I thought you wouldn't get. I thought it'll be really, really snaky. I'm pleasantly surprised and actually impressed with this. And it goes back to that question of, do you need more than an M2? Do you need more than an M240i, aka the M2, or is this all the M car you need? The only thing different, so we were talking about this before, as standard these cars look awful. They look like a 2 Series diesel.
Exactly.
We didn't disagree on that, did we? But where it's, you know, the mods that you've done straight away, you've differentiated it and made it look a lot more sporty, whereas, so that was the whole kind of my idea of getting an M2. It looked sporty, it looked like a proper M car. But, you know, if you do the right mods on this, save yourself the extra money, and you've tuned this, so this is, you know, pushing the same horsepower as an M2 comp. I think about 420, 430 or something like that. A lot of them, I can't remember if it's the same engine or if they use different parts in an M2.
I think it's a different engine. So this engine is different compared to the M2, and then M2 competition is another engine as well. Yeah,
that's the M4 engine in the comp, isn't it? But I mean, you know, if that engine is even better, there's nothing wrong with this engine. I think this is a great engine. It limits it slightly, but there wasn't massive fuss, drama. Obviously, like I said, guys, it is dry. But do you know what? I was half expecting, right, I'm going to be fighting it. It's just, but no, you don't get much of that.
I think the tyres help as well, because
that's the big thing. So that's one thing I'd say. So the original tyres you had on this, what was it?
They were still Michelin Super Sports.
Right. Okay. So you're saying you've noticed a difference?
Yeah, it's definitely a difference.
I mean, these are probably really good value for money now if you're looking at one.
Yeah, you can probably pick one up for like under 20k.
That's crazy. That's so much car for the money.
And there's a few like not really that expensive mods you can.
Yeah, like I said, like. So as well as, you know, the carbon inside, Shai's actually done a lot of carbon on the exterior. So what did you have? You had the wing caps.
Yeah, the side mirrors, the front splitter, side skirts, the diffuser and the spoiler.
I'm telling you guys, it makes a massive difference, doesn't it? In terms of appearance. In terms of my C43, the only carbon I've got on it at the minute is the wing, and I thought that, you know, made a world of difference. So, you know, doing the full works and everything like that, it looks like a proper kit. When he drove up behind me, I was like, what is that? Like, that did not look like an M240. It looked like an M2 with the stuff that you've done, and it just shows this is a bit of value money talk. This, you don't need an M2. Get one of these. The money you save, do some mods.
Exactly.
Well, I'm massively impressed, to be fair.
So for me, you're $3,000 down, not $350 a month.
Can I put that bit in, actually?
Yeah, sure.
So Shai just literally said then, in terms of value, so I don't hide the fact I PCP my cars. Shai's PCP'd this, and you just said, so monthly payments, what, $350 with $3,000 down deposit? That's really good, guys. I mean, it's a similar payment to my C43, but I put down like triple in terms of, you know, the equity for my CLA 45 plus some money on top. It was massively different. So the very fact, $3,000 and 350 quid, that's unbelievable. You know, normal 3-seater, brand new 3-seater now is like 300 quid, normal.
Exactly.
So,
and if you want to get like a M2 RS3
they're massively more.
They're about double that much.
It's crazy. So you've got to factor in like how badly do you want an M2 over an M240i. This is a hell of a lot of car for the money for what it is, and you daily this, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
There you have it, guys. That was a quick blast in Shahid's M240i, modified, you know, pushing 420 horsepower. All the exterior mods he's done to it. Proper bit of kit. Got any questions about this car, my C43, CLA 45, do drop them down below in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them as always. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.